my name is Maddie or Books with Maddie, and today I'm showing you my 2021 reading journal flip through. Okay, so like I said, today I'm going to be showing you my 2021 section of my reading journal. I made a video last year flipping through the 2020 section of this journal. I keep multiple years in one journal, so I did 2020 in here last year, 2021 in here this year, or wait, hold on. I did 2020 in here, and then last year I did 2021, and I think I have room for one more, so this will have 3 reading years in it. Before I get into the actual reading journal, I'll just talk a little bit about my process of journaling and stuff like that. But first, I want to just recognize some things about my video last year. That is my most viewed video of all time. I don't know how or why, but I just want to say thank you so much. I think it has like 20 something thousand views, and that's a lot of people. Thank you so much for all of that support. It scares me a little bit that many people saw my face and heard my voice. That's really scary to me, but thank you so much. And I am doing some more stuff vis-a-vis journaling this year, so I have a lot of exciting stuff coming up that I'm really excited to show you guys, so keep an eye out for all of that. So the concept behind this journal is pretty similar to the way it was last year. I really wanted to have this journal be a place where I could comfortably and helpfully journal my reading progress throughout the year. I think a lot of times there's reading journals and bullet journals and art journals that look so aesthetically pleasing and everything, and you want to recreate something just like it, but it kind of takes the functionality, is that a word? I don't know, the function out of the journal because you're so stressed about making it look a certain way. And so that was my concept with it last year, was I'm allowed to make mistakes, I'm allowed to mess up, it is allowed to not look pretty as long as it functions for what I want it to do, the way that I want it to track. This year I wanted to adopt the same thing, but I found that I wanted to be a little bit more creative with it, so I integrated some kind of like scrapbook elements to it. I'll give you like a little bit of a sneak peek. So a lot of my months looked like this, and I'll kind of compare and show you what I did last year versus what I did this year. So my main thing with reading journals is always function over aesthetic. Like, just make sure that the reading journal functions the best for you, and that is kind of the way that I wanted to approach this journal. I also want to recognize for myself, I guess, that this journal is kind of like an ongoing process. So there's things that I'm not quite happy with it. There's blank pages and stuff like that that I'd like to fill in more, and that's something that I will continue to do and fill in. And then maybe when I'm completely done with this journal and have 2022 filled out, I'll do a complete flip through and show you the ways that I've updated it since I've showed you it in this video, and then also since I've updated the 2020 version of it. So yeah, I guess we'll just get right into the flip through.
So here's a little behind the scenes for you. I filmed my flip throughs on my bed because my desk is not near a lighting source, and this is like perfect lighting source. This is where I would be doing my flip through, but I have a dog here with his blanket, and there's his there's his stuffed animal, Corbin. Oh my gosh, what? What? How did that just happen? Did he just read my actual mind? Oh my gosh, I'm freaking out.
Okay, so I don't know how my dog just literally telepathically understood exactly what I needed, but he's literally sitting quietly in the other room. So we're gonna do this quick. So this is the outside of my reading journal. I got it from Barnes & Noble. It's just some books on the cover, so I was like, perfect for a reading journal. Here is the opening to my reading journal. It is the same as last year. It just says reading journal, and I'd like to do more with it at some point, but for right now it just says reading journal. And then we have 2021 here. No, sorry, this is 2020. And then we get into 2021. This is my reading reflections from last year. It's secret, you can't read it. This is my cover for 2021. It's super boring, super simple, but I kind of like it. It's just very simplistic, and yeah, that's pretty much it. This is my like opening page. So on the left I have my 2020 reading challenge, which was my goal. So I fill this part out at the beginning of the year, what my goal was for the year, 100 books, and then I ended up reading exactly 100 books. So yeah, this and this and this are all pieces of scrapbook paper. You can get these big like packets of scrapbook paper from like your local craft store, and I always get those, and that's mainly what I use for my reading journals. This background space situation is actually a cutout from an astronomy magazine that my dad had and I stole and cut up. This is also just a piece of blank scrapbook paper that I just did some hand lettering on. Yeah, I left this page blank initially and then ended up filling it out at the end of the year with what my favorite book every month was. So I just filled this out at the end of the year and wrote down what my favorite book of every month was, which I thought was really cool. I kind of wish that I had done that last year. I think that's a really cool concept that I saw a couple other people doing, and so I really wanted to adopt that into mine. After that, I do this every year. I have just a pretty simple spread of what I read, so I fill this out as I go. As I read a book, I put the title, the date, and the rating. I think next year I will probably take out the date. I just don't really care like how long it takes me to read a book anymore, because that kind of puts a lot of unnecessary pressure on me, and you know, I don't really appreciate that. So I will probably keep title and rating, and then maybe I'll put like author instead or something like that, or maybe I don't even need that. I don't know. It's all gonna be new next year. And I just leave a couple pages blank for this. I clearly forgot to fill this out. I'm just realizing that now, but like I said, I'm taking a very casual approach to this, so as you can see, there's a lot of, you know, messy looking stuff, but it is what it is. And it got super messy here. But yeah, here's a blank page. I'd really like to put like some kind of quote on it or something like that, but I just haven't gotten around to doing that yet, and I really want to get this video out. Last year, I had a blank as well last year, and I kind of just put in this quote, and I really like doing that because I don't get to do like hand lettered quotes a lot, so I really enjoyed doing that, and I'd like to do something again with that this year, but kind of integrate that scrapbooky kind of element to it. Next, I have some just statistics. I really like this graph that I did this year. I think I got this idea from Pinterest, and I really liked how everything was just kind of concisely and neatly in one place. So I have the number of books that I read every month, the number of pages that I read every month, and then owned books that I read and borrowed books that I read. I really liked these two statistics to see, you know, how I improved with borrowing books instead of just buying every single book that I read. I think that's going to be one of my goals for next year, is to borrow more books. And I really like to see that like 25%, like a fourth of the books that I read in 2021 were borrowed, and I'm really happy about that. Star ratings, I really liked how I did this format. I tried to make it a little bit different last year. I had this star rating situation, and I just didn't really like the way that it looked, and so I was really excited about coming up with this new way of doing it. I didn't do the stats like I did last year. I had that all like in my stats video, so I didn't feel the need to make a stats page. This is also something new that I did. I made these boxes. Every time that I read a book, I filled it out. I say that is not at all what I did. I literally filled these out all in one sitting in 2022. I did not do this as the year went on, mostly because I was trying to figure out what I wanted my color scheme to be. So I knew I wanted to do different colors, but I didn't know like what I wanted each color to represent. At first I was gonna do like star ratings, so I would color in, you know, yellow for 1 star, like let's say blue for 2 stars, and so on and so forth. But then I kind of thought that would be repetitive because I already have the star ratings here. So I ended up doing the format that I read the books in, and I really liked that. The only thing that I regret about this page is these two colors ended up being really, really similar. So like that's the blue and that's the purple, like that's blue and that's purple, and they ended up being really, really similar. So I wish I had chosen a different color. But yeah, I really like this, and I really want to do it again, even though drawing out all these boxes was a pain in the butt. I really want to do it again because it seems like it would be a fun thing to do had I kept up with it and done it as I was going throughout the year. After that, we have this. This is my Pop Sugar Challenge page. If you don't know what the Pop Sugar Challenge is, I don't know what exactly Pop Sugar is. It like reminds me of BuzzFeed, but like slightly different. They have like a reading section to their, you know, organization, whatever it is, where each year they come out with a set of challenges, such as a book that's published in 2021, an Afrofuturist book, dark academia book, a locked room mystery, just like things like that. And I love participating in it because it always pushed me to read something that I might not have read otherwise. But I just like didn't use this. I didn't finish the challenge. I never do it as like a completion thing. I just like pick and choose the ones. I try to do all of them every year, but I never end up doing all of them. and I did most of them, but then I just never ended up. I was too ashamed to fill this out because I was doing so poorly with it. But maybe I will, like, as I update this, fill this out, but I definitely will not be including this in my spreads next year. I keep track of it on a spreadsheet in my Google Drive, and so I just do not need this. It's so much pressure to open my reading journal and see this. I just don't need that energy in my life. Okay, so after this we get into the monthly spreads. So like I said, I took a kind of scrapbooky approach to this year, mostly because at the beginning of the year I was in a giant slump and I wasn't reading a lot of books, and so like let me show you what I did previously. This is how I would set up my monthly spreads. So I just had like this like title page situation and then the list of the books that I read and stuff like that. I didn't want to do it like that this year because just like having 4 books here only, like, because that's how many I read in January, that just felt like really bad. And so I didn't know exactly how to make myself feel better, and so I just made it look pretty instead. What I do want to kind of disclaim about these pages is that a lot of these are artwork that I found on Pinterest. So like these little plant drawings, this mushroom, and these butterflies are all artwork that I found on Pinterest. So I do not own any of the artwork. I want to be super clear about that. I do not own the artwork in these. These are scrapbook pages I got from those scrapbook packets, but a lot of other things I just ended up printing and using because they were really pretty and they went with my theme. That's another thing. I tried to choose a theme for every month. This theme was black and white, I guess. Black and white and gray. So for each month, I just did the title. I printed out the books that I read. I really like that visual aspect, and I definitely want to bring that into next year. I listed the books that I read, and then when I had room, I put these like superlatives. So my favorite, least favorite, disappointment, sometimes I did surprise. I actually don't think I kept up with that at all doing the superlatives, but yeah. So for February, I did the same thing. I printed out, see, this month only had 3, and that would have looked so lame in the other format. So yeah, I had read these 3 books. I did not do the superlatives for this month because I really liked how this page looked. I kind of did this like peachy beige pink theme, and I didn't want to cover anything up because I really liked all of this artwork, and so I just kept it. These are all, again, not my artwork. These are all from Pinterest and scrapbooks and stuff, so, or scrapbook paper and stuff. So yeah, do not own any of this. These are all washi tape that you can get from Target, you can order on Amazon, so on and so forth, Joann's, Michael's, wherever you shop. March, I don't know why they have that bookmarked. I definitely planned on doing the superlatives right here for this month and then just never did. This is a greenish theme, again, not my artwork. I only read 4 books again this month, so yeah, was pretty ashamed of that. April, this theme was not really my favorite. I found this artwork on Pinterest and I wanted to base the entire theme around this kind of retro orangey yellow vibe, and then I just didn't like how it turned out. So this one is not one of my favorites. I think this was from like a New York Times magazine, and it just came out really blurry, and I wasn't happy with that. So yeah, this is April, and that's another thing, like, even though I put a lot of time and effort into like these scrapbook pages, this is another thing that I want to emphasize is like they don't have to be perfect. Like some of them like come out the way that I really wanted them to look, and some of them are kind of more of a flop, and instead of like being really unhappy with it or like trying to redo it in some way, I just move on. May, I kind of felt the same way with, like, this is a lot to look at. I'm not super happy with this washi tape. It's fine. I'm just moving on. I am really happy with this washi tape. Like, that's really kind of sick. This page, it's okay. I feel in between about it. And kind of the same thing with this, did the books that I read. I don't think I actually ever did the superlatives again, now that I'm thinking about it. Not my artwork. These are the books that I read. Moving on. June, kind of another brown, pink, beige theme. These are the books that I read. I really love having these visuals and being able to print them out because there's just so much more satisfying to be able to see the books that I read rather than just have them listed. What I do miss about last year's spreads is when I would write the quotes. That's definitely something that I want to integrate into 2022's reading journal, is I really loved having all of this space to write quotes, and so I do want to do it a little bit differently in 2022. Here's July. This might be my favorite spread. I love this like citrus theme. My friend Sarah came up with this theme. She was like, why don't you do a citrus theme for July? And I was like, yes, correct answer. I love all these little images and stuff. Very fun times. And also to like find this stuff on Pinterest, I literally just typed in citrus aesthetic or like lemon aesthetic or something like that, and then like this stuff comes up. And I always look for like a big piece like this big like orangey piece, or like this one in the background, to like have like a piece, like a background piece, or like I use scrapbook paper also. And then I try to find little things that I can put around like stickers, like, you know, these little things, or like these little, that's kind of how I craft. I look for like two different types of images, the big background pieces and then the little like sticker like situations. So as I got into later in the year, this is August, wildflower theme, I started doing more like, instead of just doing like a color scheme, I came up with like a concept, so like wildflowers, that was my theme. But I also stopped being able to fit the books I read. I think it was probably like September this month that I stopped being able to fit that because I started reading more books. I think this is when like school started, obviously, so I was reading more. This is like a mushroom red theme, red mushroom bugs and cat theme. I don't know, it kind of got chaotic towards the end of the year. October was like this witchy moon theme. I really am happy with how this one turned out, but again, I read too many books to be able to fit the like books I read thing on there. And the same thing for this one was like printing out these big background pieces. I printed this one, this was scrapbook paper, and then these little like sticker pieces that I found. Yeah. And then November, I actually had room to do this, and see, like, I messed up here, and I was like, that's chill, I'm gonna just leave it. That was like my whole thing going into this journal, was like, I'm gonna make mistakes, I'm gonna leave it. It's not gonna look perfect, I'm gonna be fine with that. November was like this dark academia, well, this isn't really dark academia, I don't know, this kind of like academic beige theme. And then lastly was December. I was kind of running out of steam at this point of the year, and so I did this like wintry Christmas lights theme. I'm not super happy with it now that I'm looking at it again from this perspective, but it is what it is, and maybe I'll update it as I go back through and am filling in the blanks of certain things that I wanted to add to this journal. And that's literally the end of the journal. Last year I did top 10 of the year and stuff like that, and reading reflections, and I might add that in, but for right now I'm really happy with how it ended, and I'm really excited. I haven't started planning out 2022 yet, but I'm really excited to start, and I learned a lot from this journaling year, and I'm really excited to go back and, you know, reflect on everything that I did and what I want to change and what I want to do differently, and even go back to 2021 reading journal and kind of look at what I did there and what I want to include in my 2022 section that I did in both of these sections. Okay, so that was my 2021 reading journal flip through situation. I know it's very different from last year, and I hesitated to kind of continue with this scrapbooking kind of situation because I know a lot of people liked the simplicity of 2021 or oh my gosh, the years are all blending together. A lot of people like the simplicity of my 2020 spreads and how there wasn't a lot of artwork or complicated elements to it. And I still do think that you can like integrate both styles into your reading journal. The thing that I always want to emphasize, like I said earlier, was, you know, make your reading journal function the best way that it can for you. For me, you know, this was a way for me to express, you know, like some creativity that I lost when I wasn't able to, you know, keep up with some of my other journaling, my bullet journal and stuff like that. I love being able to do this scrapbooking stuff, and so part of the function of my reading journal became a place where I could creatively express, you know, this other side of art that I like to do. And so, you know, whatever you need, whatever you want your journal to be for, make it work the best way that I can for you. That's pretty much the end of the flip through. I do want to know, like, I want to be making a lot more of like journaling type videos since you guys really seemed to like me showing you that and stuff. Let me know what else you'd like to see from me. If you guys like to see my 2022 journal setup, like let me know. I can do a lot more journaling videos if that's something that you'd be interested in. Just let me know in the comments below, and also let me know if you plan on doing a 2022 reading journal and what kind of spreads you'd like to see me integrate into mine. Other than that, I think that's pretty much the end of this video. I really hope that you enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you did enjoy this video and want to keep updated with what I'm doing on this channel. I hope you have a great day, I hope you have a great week, and I hope you have a great life, and I will see you very, very soon. Bye-bye!